Hey, 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 it's Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist, creator of the Phoenix Therapy Method, creator of MACSJC Foundation, which I just turned my practice into a foundation, so I'm super excited about that. But I wanted to come on and talk about why you don't think you have what you deserve. And I know a lot of people, if you're anything like how I was raised, it was a very interesting journey to kind of figure out what what you really deserve in this life, like what's yours to have, and coming to a place where you believe that anything you want is yours to have. I know my backstory really set the stage of what I believed I deserved, what I could really depict and predict was going to happen to me, because we really can't predict the future, but we can have a plan of what we want to accomplish, what we want to see happen, how we want things to transpire. And I know not having to worry about money and stress from bills is one thing everybody often kind of prays for and manifests and wants to have. And I know that that's possible. There are people who have very little money problems, but maybe they have other concerns, or they don't have health concerns, they have money concerns. Like, everybody's got some issue that they are working through. I don't think there's anybody who's like completely stress-free and completely without any level of concern. And there are ways to get to a point where you feel comfortable in the way your life is flowing along, even if you have hiccups along the way. I grew up believing what I wanted wasn't important. I grew up believing that I should just be satisfied with what I have and I shouldn't want more, and that even wanting more was kind of arrogant and I should just be satisfied. I married a man who also felt like sustenance and covering was all that you really needed to strive for, and I always knew that there was more. I always knew there was a possibility to have this orgasmically incredible life if I just kept plowing forward, if I just kept going after it. And I have to make sure I'm not on mute, because inevitably I've done a whole lot on mute before. I was taught that I had to follow the family business, which was education, and I did. I didn't love it. I tolerated it for 10 years. I always had a side gig. That's just who I am. I had to have something for me. And I got to a point where I didn't want to just exist. I didn't want to just struggle. I wanted to live a life of orgasmic pleasure. I wanted to live a life of sensuality and excitement and joy. And I knew that that just didn't have to come on the weekends or in the summer or on spring break or Christmas break. I could have that every day if I just nailed down how and if I just nailed down what. And I used to go through this phase in my life, and I stopped for a while and I could see the difference. And when I stopped, I used to wake up in the morning and I'd go, what do I want? Who do I want it with? Why do I want it? And why do I want it with these people? And I stopped asking myself that, and I could see the plummet after having stopped asking myself that. But once I got back into asking, what do I want? Why do I want it? Who do I want it with? And why do I want it with those people? My entire life and perspective changed. I realized I wanted people who understood me and loved me for who I was deep down at the core, without addition or subtraction, unless I wanted to add or subtract something. I wanted to have a morning where I woke up, I was excited and elated that life had been given, I'd been given another day to change the world and to change my life for the better. I didn't want to wake up being upset that I made it through the night, because nobody should wake up that way. And if you do wake up that way, I'm super sorry. And there are people who are very well meaning, I'm sure. And then there are people who are just assholes. But there are people who project their fears onto you. They make you feel like what you want is impossible or outlandish or insane. You should just be satisfied, and you should just get a 9 to 5 and raise a family and get a house in the country and be satisfied. That isn't for everyone at all. And sometimes we get into the rigmarole and the balance, or we think it's balance, and we go through the changes and the rote and repetition of a life that isn't even something we wanted. We just kind of get into the mode of just doing what we should, doing what we are told, and it isn't anything like what we want. It isn't even close to what we wanted. And I think that once you just stop the noise, you get to really delve deeper into who you are and what you want and why you want it, and why you should go after every single thing you've ever wanted and not stop until you achieve the thing that you want. Because why have a life that's just drudgery and just going through the motions? And never let anybody douse your dreams or douse the fire and the flame of passion that you have in your life for what you truly want. Don't let well-meaning people deter you from the direction that your soul says to go into. Your gut knows you better. Your gut has been with you since day one. This light is killing my eyes. And I'm doing it so I have terrible lighting. It doesn't matter where I move. It seems I have just terrible lighting, and I'm not getting a diva light. So some days I'm not sure everything I even planned for my life is where I am. I used to think I would just teach and live at the beach and never marry or have a child. And here I am, and I will always say I'm the mother of two, even though I lost my son. And I didn't get married. I'm not the marrying kind. Although, if someone who has a soul connection with me and kind of looks like Ice-T mixed with Mark Paul Gosselaar wants to fall into my path, I'll be totally open to receiving that. But until someone really comes into my path, it's pretty much, I'm fine. But what I want more than anything is to be a light for others, because I know there have been times when I was sitting in darkness and I needed a light and I needed someone to hold space for me. So I feel like that's part of my mission, and the reason I went through the 3 years of hell that I did was so that I could be a light to other people. And having gone through this constant battle of having to reprogram the old paradigms and thoughts that I had running through my mind of I'm not enough, I'm fatso, I'm Oreo, I don't have anything to offer, no one wants what I have to offer. Having to reprogram that on a daily basis has led me to know that what I want is possible. It wasn't put in my soul to birth into the world if it wasn't supposed to happen. And I know people, growing up, people who had money were thought to be holier than thou and sedity, and those who had plenty of money were to be envied. But I didn't ever envy people with money. Famous people never excited me at all. In fact, my obsession with Ice-T at this point in my life has anything to do with his being a rapper or having been on SVU for the last 20 years. It's because of the soul level connection that we have. I've read a lot about him. I know his story. I know his upbringing, and I'm enthralled with who he is as a person, as a man, as a father, as a husband. He's a great person. So someone along those lines would be my cup of coffee. But if he were just a regular Joe Blow on the street and I still got to know him, I'd still be enthralled by him. It's not his famous, his personality as a famous person that intrigues me. And so what it used to intrigue me is about a person's soul, who they are at the core, that soul connection. And I never was envious of the rich. I was more envious of the people who had the 2.5, the mom, the dad, the two and a half siblings, and a dog and a picket fence, or people who had this incredible dreamy relationship with their mother, or who had loving husbands, or whose kids seemed to be so well behaved. My daughter is very well behaved. She's just different than the child I expected to mother. But hey, you don't always know what you're getting yourself into. But she's an amazing child, so I'm very blessed. To me, having those things was a luxury. This warm, inviting home where you're respected and loved and cherished, and dinners at the dinner table. It was just that dream, that 2.5, the cleavers. I'm sure they have their problems too. Because I grew up with vacations, and we lived in a nice house, and we lived in a good neighborhood, and what killed me, or almost killed me, was the emotional chaos. The instability of that is what drove me to the ends of the earth, it seemed. And also having to know that everything I did, like I thought if I was a good girl, if I followed all the rules, if I did the right thing, I would be immune or vaccinated from any pain, and it didn't happen that way. And I was very pissed, very pissed. And then also as I grow up and learn more about myself and who I am and what I love and what I don't love, and who I'm meant to talk to, who I'm meant to serve, I realize that my target audience changes because I grow and I evolve, and my client avatar changes because who I want to help changes. It's always at the core to make them feel wealthy and abundant and unapologetic with the way they live and to own their truth, but the way in which that is framed changes as I grow and evolve, and it should. And I feel that because I've kind of always struggled to find my place in the world, where I belong, my tribe, I've even fought to even believe that there is a such thing as a tribe. And I didn't want to accept that paradigm or that thought, because it was like, I don't have a tribe. I don't have a group of people that I just go to, but I do have people that I've hired, coaches and mentors that I've hired over the years, but just like this tribe, like this group, I fought that for a long time, because it's not fun to be rejected or to feel like you don't belong somewhere. But then at the core, it's also knowing that at the core, You belong to yourself. Looking outside yourself for love, acceptance, validation, and belonging is often where the pain begins. Whether it's looking for it in your friends, your family, your mate, your kids, your job, it has to come from within. It has to come from this soul deep place within. And once you feel at home there, you can feel at home anywhere because you're at home within. And that took me forever to achieve. And it's the constant everyday journey. I wouldn't say battle, it's a journey. I used to think that, if things didn't work out for me, that I was being punished. I was being smited. And I would get really upset because I thought I was doing everything right and I had to be perfect. By the way, if you haven't seen the movie Black Swan, go watch it. It is an incredible epitome of trying to achieve perfection at the price of losing and killing yourself. And then I used to see people who weren't that God-centered, whose life was going well. They didn't seem to have the same hiccups. So believing that you have to have that every Sunday, every weeknight, church-going schedule no longer resonated for me. And that was different for me because I was brought up in the church and I was taught to be this little girl who did it what she was supposed to do and followed the letter of the law. And then it came to a point, and I recommend everyone reevaluate your core values. What resonates with you? What really resonates with you deep down in your core, in your soul, where you live? What resonates and what doesn't? What no longer serves you? What no longer resonates? What can be kind of shelved off and sloughed off and moved to the side and blown away, and to revamp and replenish what does resonate and what does go well with you? And it's very difficult to change what you've always believed and what you've always thought was true, because I was under the impression if you did the right thing, you would get wonderful results. And that isn't always true. It's like going to work every day, and then at the end of the week or end of 2 weeks, you don't get paid. And you're very upset because you did all the right things. You went to work, you didn't miss, you did what you were supposed to, but there's no reward. There's no payment. And everybody, whether you want to admit it or not, we're doing things for a reward, whether it's intrinsic or extrinsic, we're doing things to have a result. And if you continue to do the same thing and you get the same result and you don't like it, it's insanity. So if you're not getting the results that you want, it's time to change the plan. It's time to change the way you're doing things, especially if you've been giving your all and you don't see any fruit. You don't see any fruit from your harvest, or you don't see any fruit of the labor that you've invested. And I go back and forth of whether there's this thing called blocks. We're all blocked in some way. You're blocked because you can't get this, and you're blocked because you can't afford that. And after having done 3 years of work, a lot of deep mindset work with traditional therapists and holistic practice therapists and healers, knowing that it's an ever-going process, I don't altogether buy into the blocks, because you always are working on yourself, going deeper, doing more, and uncovering and excavating and revamping, I would hope. And I know that going to a 9 to 5 every day is not for me either, because I don't follow rules well. Never was a really good follower of the rules. And I really believe that life is supposed to be easier, and the struggle is not supposed to be every single day. Like, it should not be a struggle to go through life every single day. It should not be that bad. Life should not be drudgery. It should not be so hard, and you should not have this laborious breath to take just to go to the next minute or the next hour to handle the next thing. I know sometimes we do, but it shouldn't be every day. So my new thing as we go into the new month is struggle is not going to be a thing for me anymore. I am going to put forth the aligned action and effort, but I am not going to struggle, because struggling is exhausting and I don't have the energy for it anymore. And that goes with a relationship with my mother, my children, my work, myself, everything. It's just going to be ease and flow. And if it's not, I'm going to change it. Even the way I watch television, which isn't very often. But as much as I pay for cable, there should always be something I like on TV. So I am opening the door to receive only ease and flow, because I cannot do struggle anymore. And I challenge you to think about what you're no longer available for. Like, what is it over for? Like, you are done with whatever this is, whatever your thing is, and you are ready for something easier. And it doesn't have to be hard. I am so tired of people telling me it has to be hard. I refuse. Just damn it, I refuse. I refuse to struggle any fucking more ever again, because it is just too exhausting and I don't have time for it. I just don't. And in case I forgot to mention, I am Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist, creator of the Phoenix Therapy Method. My practice is now a foundation. I love beaches, island, food, sleep. By the way, I'm going to get back my love of food. Anyone who knows me knows how much I love food. I don't love it. I haven't loved it in a while. So I'm going to get back to savoring and being in a sensuous place of eating the foods that I love, even though it's always, for the most part, healthy. Cheesecake is healthy, it's dairy. So I'm going to get back into loving food and savoring those mouthfuls of delicious, delightful, decadent food that I used to love and could just have sex with my food. Like, I know that's gross. Well, it's not actually gross. It's the orgasmic, sensual feeling it and touching it and getting all my senses involved. I used to have a therapist. She's freaking amazing. And that's how she would describe life. Should be, you should feel it, you should taste it, you should see it. Everything should be this sensual affair. And I truly believe that. And I teach people how to be unapologetic and wealthy, preferably at the same time. My newest program is where I teach you to create 150 or more dollars on a regular basis daily from your phone. And that's huge for me because I wasn't one who really ever believed that you could really run your business from your phone. But as my daughter grows and needs me more in different areas, and I want to be not, married to my desk in my office, it's become a really freeing and awesome thing to have a portable office where I could just do everything from my phone. So I'm a very big advocate of that, and I've done a lot of business that way, and my business has really grown from that direction, and I'm super excited to share with you how it could possibly be for you. And if you don't think it's possible, just come talk to me. It is possible. It's totally possible. And I'm not even running my business from an iPhone. I'm running it from a cracked phone. My daughter had a little tantrum and cracked my phone. I'm running my business from this little thing. Can you see it? I don't know. You can't see it. It's on. I just don't have it on. See, it's on now. But I'm running my business from this phone. Like, I'm just doing a live because, I don't know, I just prefer to do a live from my computer. But if I can run my business from my phone, so can you. And it's a cracked phone. It's not even a smartphone. It's a cracked LG phone. So I can do it. You can do it too. And I'll teach you how from your own phone and in your own way. So if you want to talk to me about any and everything I've discussed or just something random, because that can be random, feel free to reach out to me. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Thanks for joining. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Elizabeth. If you want to reach out to me, let me know. PM me or DM me. I'm trying to stay active on all the social medias. Hi, Tracy. I really don't like social media, but I do like keeping up with people I love, and I do like sharing what I love to do. So in that regard, I do love it. So I have been on here way longer than I meant to, and Law and Order Criminal Intent is about to come on. So I'm going to go catch that. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Feel free to PM me, and I will put the link in the comments. Thanks, and also share this. I would love if you could get this to the people that you think would benefit most. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.